Okay, what is up, guys? I am PDFTCG. Today we're doing something a little bit different. I don't know if deck profile is the right term, or what we would call this. Theorizing Gaios sounds good. So this is a deck utilizing cards that have not yet been released for the Chaos Galaxy, coming in the set 2, the set 3 starter deck, the new starter decks. Just like, yeah, I've already done, this is like my third take on this video, so we're just leaving that in. Sorry, guys. It's also going on 6 a.m. for me, but yeah, we couldn't sleep, so we're doing a video. Plus, I'm late getting this out, so that's where we're at. Also, sorry for this video being probably a day late. But yeah, so obviously the planet is Gaios. What I've named the deck is Gluuh Gatling gun. Obviously this deck's going to use a lot of proxies because the deck doesn't exist yet. So over here probably. Yeah, let's do over here somewhere. We're going to have cards popping up showing you exactly what these do, but we're going to run 2 copies of Gula. We're going to run 2 copies of Kraka, I think is how it's pronounced. So Gluuh says that you can destroy 1 tree of the night jungle per time that it's summoned, so you can only do it once per time that it's summoned. And you can destroy another creature on your opponent's side of the field. Super good, whole point of the deck. We're looking to reuse this as many times as possible. And Kraka is partially what lets us do that. It says you can eat a tree of the night jungle to... And the text on the video was a little bit different than how he was using it, so I'm hoping I'm using this correctly. You can eat a tree and then shuffle in 2 either trees or creatures of the night jungle. Trees or beasts of the night jungle, I guess, would be the better way to do it. So we're going to use that primarily to get our Gluuhs, but also to get back our trees, particularly the tree that lets us draw. Next, we're running 2 of each tree of the night jungle. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. A lot of these we don't really care about the effects. There's one that lets us search for the Resource Conjurer. We're not even running Resource Conjurer. We just want another target for our Gluuh. So the words on these cards, not terribly important. The only words that we care about are Tree of the Night Jungle. Although one of us lets us draw. 1 search out of the resource conjure. We don't care about that one at all. 1 takes away 2 of our opponent's points. Some of them are pretty good, particularly the draw ones. Like I said, like the resource conjure ones, we don't care about at all. Next up, we have 2 Aplu. This lets us search out Gluuh. And more importantly, this is where the Gatling gun bit comes in. So, let's say you have like 3 trees, and and go ahead and bring up the double wormholes as well. So, one of the weaknesses that Zach brought up about Gluuh in the video is that you'll drop him, he'll kill an opponent's creature, and he's probably going to die. The thing about that is that you play Gluuh with Gaios. And what this means is that Gluuh is going to hit the field for exactly 2 seconds. Because what you're going to do is you're going to play Gluuh. You're going to use his ability. You're going to play your tree. You're going to sacrifice your tree. You're going to kill an opponent's creature, and then you will immediately sacrifice him to go get an Aplu. which will then go in your hand, which you can then immediately play if you want to. Sacrifice it, go get your other Gluuh. Use that Gluuh's ability, kill a creature. Sacrifice that Gluuh, get an Gluuh, hold this Gluuh. Now, you've got an Gluuh in hand, and you may or may not have any trees left, doesn't matter. What you can do now is you can use your double wormholes or your Krakas to shuffle back in your Gluuhs or your Gluuh with the double wormhole, and then you can just do it again. So you shuffle back in your Gluuhs, you play your last Gluuh, you sacrifice the Gluuh, go get another Gluuh, sacrifice the Gluuh, go get an Gluuh, sacrifice the Gluuh, go get... Yeah, so you can basically, as long as you can shuffle back in your Gluuhs and you have Trees of the Night Jungle, you can just keep killing your opponent's creatures over and over and over and over and over and over and over. And you never have to worry about your Gluuhs dying because they never stay on the field, they never attack, so they're not going to get hit by Beasts of the Black Hole, and they're not going to be alive on your opponent's turn, so they can't get hit with removal. So like, there's not really a lot of ways that your Gluuh gets hit. I'm trying to think if there's a way to kill it, but I don't think there is. I think that you're pretty much always going to have a Gluuh or an Gluuh in your hand once you draw one of them. Like I said, with the double wormholes and the Krakas, you're just going to shuffle them back in, keep reusing them. You could use Emergency Escape Pod, and that would allow you to get another use out of your Gluuh. That would require you to like wait until your opponent's turn. I guess you could attack into your opponent's creature with the Gluuh and get it put back on top of your deck that way, but that's like a -1, and you already have really good ways of getting it back. But that is another option. That is something you could do. So to go back over what we've gone over so far, 2 Krakas, 2 Gluuhs, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 trees, 2 double wormholes, and 2 Gluuhs. That's all you need for this deck. The rest of the stuff is kind of whatever you want it to be. This is kind of the core of the deck. You could do some Gomp stuff. You could do some Taupe Swinger stuff. What I've done from here is I've just put in good stuff. Like, just straight up, just like, there's not a lot of strategy going on here. This is, I got my Gluuh. I got stuff to get back my Gluuh. I got stuff to search out my Gluuh. And then I'm running good stuff. One thing to note is that this deck is not running the Zemelian tree, because you are running exactly 4 Gaios creatures. 6 Gaios creatures. So you still have a decent chance of hitting them. The issue is that the downside to Zemelian tree is that if you don't hit a Gaios creature, you discard your entire hand. And since this is basically a control deck, we don't really like discarding our entire hand. It's really not good. The card basically says if we don't hit a Gaios creature, forfeit the game. We don't really like that, particularly when we're only running 6 of them. So that's why we're not running that card, just for clarification. So like I said, this is basically just good stuff, but you could run Gomp, you could run some Taupe Swingers with the Treasure Swamps if you wanted to do that. I would not suggest running Gigantrus or Viridius the Devourer. Reasoning behind that is they don't really synergize with the planet. You don't have any support in here for them. You have no synergy with them at all. There's no real reason to search for like Viridius with the planet Gaios. You're just playing like I think he's a 7-star. You're playing a 7-star creature at that point for 14 stars. You searched out a big beat stick. It doesn't do anything. The same with Gigantrus. The boss monster for the Night Jungle is like okay, but the whole point of the deck is to reuse your Gluuhs many times, which doesn't synergize with what he wants to do. He wants to have a bunch of the trees on the field. So like I said, you can do whatever you want from this point on, really. This is just good stuff. So we have what I would consider staples in Beast of the Black Hole, Phantom Matter, Galaxy Crash, 2 Cosmic Treasures, 2 KOs. These I don't think are very arguable, in my opinion. These I put in just about every deck. I think that Phantom Matter is going to slowly get worse as the game goes on. You probably won't be seeing it as much. We might end up seeing better removal or better draw than KO or Cosmic Treasure. Don't know yet. Those might get worse, but at the moment I would consider them staples. Galaxy Crash and Beast of the Black Hole I think are probably going to get used until they get banned, if they get banned. So those will probably stay just about forever. Erratic Void and Bolide Comet I would consider like pseudo staples. I like running 1 Bolide Comet in just about every deck. We could run the, is it Meteor Storm? The one that hits the heavy storm. I don't know I can't remember what it's called. The thing with that is some of the, I think exactly 1 tree is beneficial to just keep on the field. So we don't necessarily want to run that. We're also not running any Slush Infestation, so you definitely could run the Meteor Storm instead. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and say that's probably better now that I'm thinking about it than the Bolide Comet, because we're not running Slush Infestation in this particular deck. If you do choose to run Slush Infestation, you might not want to run it. But yeah, most decks don't really get hit very hard by that, just because they're not running multiple permanent resources. Though like Polysium probably runs 1, maybe even 2 Slush Infestations, plus the Raylantis and maybe the Reef. So like I would probably run a Meteor Storm over this now that I'm thinking about it. Erratic Void I like to run 1, and if there was a sideboard I would put the second one in there, particularly against Polysium. It's super good. Against certain decks it just doesn't do anything, so that's why we're running 1. That's something that I would sideboard in or sideboard out if sideboarding was a thing. And from here we just have, again, it's just good stuff. We've got 2 Pelfams, 2 Gusters, 2 Tonics. These are the best creatures in the game right now. Just like hands down, they're just the best creatures. We're running 2 Eternity Amulets. I only have 1. Reasoning behind this is we don't really have a win condition. We have Pelfams that are kind of big. We have Gusters and Tonics that can kind of tempo your opponent out, but we don't really have win conditions. And this is a win condition in the form of an equipment. So you know, this can just win you the game, and we're really good at stalling out. We're really good at draining our opponent of resources with the Gusters, the Pelfams, and the Gluuhs being replayed and everything. We don't have a really good way of just killing them, and this kind of gives us a way to just kill them. And finally, we're playing, for similar reasons of the Eternity Amulet, we're playing 1 Omnius the Planet Abomination. It's just big. We have a lot of ways of stalling out the game. We can afford to run just 1 10-star big stupid dude. So that's the deck. As I said before, the main thing was just the Gluuhs, the Kraka's, the trees, the Applus, and the double wormholes. The rest of the stuff is largely optional. Some of it's kind of staple stuff, like I said before, but this is what I came up with. I think you would either run the Kraka's and the the Gluuhs, or you would run an entirely different deck with the other two creatures, the King of the Night Jungle and the... I can't remember the other one. I think it starts with a T. I can't remember its name. But yeah, I think that's another deck that you could do. I think this one is more interesting. I really like the Kraka and the Gula. I think that's the two most Gaios creatures right now. Set 1 and set 2 were kind of disappointing for Gaios, I think, because you had a lot of big, no utility creatures, really. Not to say that there weren't any utility creatures, but like the rares and stuff were like these big, bulky creatures. I think what you want is a lot of small, heavy effect-oriented creatures. And then Kraka's just great, because he can shuffle them back in, synergizes with the planet really well. With like anything that's like 5-star or higher in Gaios, I think is not tapping into the potential of the planet, because you spend too many resources getting it out for it to be effective in like this toolboxy deck that Gaios wants to be, I feel. Because if you're paying 5 stars to play a creature, then you sacrifice it and play another 5 stars to play the creature that you searched out. You just played 10 stars, and if it's like a Gigantress, which is actually 6 stars, which would be a total of 12 stars, all you've done is paid 12 stars to get a beat stick, which doesn't do a lot. So that's why I really like Gluuh. I really like Kraka. I would like to see more cards like that for Gaios. The boss monster isn't as interesting. It doesn't feel as Gaios. The other little, I think it's a little 3-star creature, that's a lot better, but it just doesn't synergize as well with what the deck wants to do. We don't have any intention of keeping our important creature, the Gluuh, on the field for any real period of time. It could protect our Kraka, so maybe you could argue that like a copy of it would be alright. But yeah, this is what I've come up with. Let me know your thoughts. The only real issue that I'm seeing with this deck at the moment is that it's kind of low on creatures, so you definitely could argue that the little 3-star creature should be in the deck. Personally, I don't think so, but I would need some playtesting and whatnot to really determine that. Anyways, thanks for watching. Really appreciate it as always. Let me know what you would change in the comments. This is something that I've been theory crafting for a little bit, but maybe haven't looked at every conceivable option. Anyway, thank you and peace.